It begins with breath. Not human breath, but the breath of a creature who has known both loyalty and loss, the kind of breath that trembles in the cold, expands in the heat, and carries memories in its very shape. The breath of a K9 named Coda. And somewhere in a quiet house on the edge of Redstone Springs, another breath struggles too, the breath of a boy whose world broke long before his body did. This is their story. And like all Wild Souls stories, it starts with a wound and ends with something that feels like a benediction. The wound. 12-year-old Ethan Cole wakes before dawn most days. Not because he can't sleep, though that's true, but because he remembers how mornings used to be. Before the accident. Before the screaming metal and the shattered glass. Before the doctor said the words no child should hear. You won't walk again. He rolls himself toward the window, hands steady from practice, and watches sunlight crawl over the mountains like a shy visitor. This morning is heavier than most. It's the anniversary of the day he lost two things at once. His father, Officer Daniel Cole. His ability to walk. Two losses bound together so tightly that even time has trouble separating them. On his dresser sits his father's badge, placed on a folded piece of cloth like a relic. Ethan touches it gently. "Morning, Dad," he whispers, as if the mountains might carry the words upward. Downstairs, his mother Claire moves slowly. Her steps are careful lately, as if she's afraid any sound might break her son a little more. Today, she suggests something unusual. "Ethan, there's a demonstration at the Police K9 Training Center. Maybe it would be good for you to go." She doesn't have to say why. They both know. Daniel Cole loved dogs. He believed they understood things humans tried to hide. Ethan nods. "Yeah, I'd like that." But neither of them knows yet that fate, or something gentler, something older, has begun rearranging pieces they can't see. The aggressive K9. The K9 Center at Redstone Springs looks more like an abandoned military base than a dog training facility. High fences, echoing concrete, and an unsettling quietness. In the center of the field stands a German shepherd unlike any other. Coda. His fur is streaked with uneven patches, some from injury, some from fire. His eyes, though, are perfect, sharp, haunted, too intelligent for comfort. The trainers whisper about him. He won't respond. He ignores commands. He's dangerous. He's broken. But the truth is deeper. Coda once had a partner he adored, a partner who died inches from him during a late-night operation. Coda stayed beside the body until rescuers arrived. No barking. No panicking. Just silent, unmovable grief. A grief so profound it changed his nature. Now, he obeys no one. He trusts no one. He reacts to no one. Until Ethan arrives. The meeting, the first turning point. The moment Ethan enters the training field, something in the air changes. Call it intuition. Call it instinct. Call it the ancient language shared between wounded souls. But Coda lifts his head. The trainers stop talking. A breeze passes, brushing against Ethan's hair, as if marking him. Ethan sees the dog and feels something pull inside him, a pull that feels both terrifying and familiar. "Mom, can I go closer?" Ethan asks. Claire stiffens. "Ethan, absolutely not. He's—" "Let him try," the head trainer interrupts. Even he doesn't know why he said it. Ethan moves forward, pushing the wheels slowly through the grass. The world around him quiets until all he hears is the soft crunch of gravel and the low breath of a solemn animal. Coda stands, muscles tense, ears alert. He watches Ethan like he's watching someone walk toward a cliff's edge. But Ethan doesn't stop. He whispers, voice trembling but steady. "It's okay. I'm not here to train you. I just want to say hi." No command. No force. No fear. Coda steps forward, one paw then another. The trainers tense. Then the impossible happens. Coda lowers his head and places it gently on Ethan's lap. A gesture of surrender. A gesture of recognition. A gesture of trust. Ethan hesitates only a second before wrapping his arms around the dog's neck. A hug. The hug that will rewrite both of their lives. Coda exhales, a long, broken breath that sounds like someone finally letting go of years of pain. The trainers are stunned. Claire is crying. Ethan is shaking. And Coda is healing. The connection. Coda becomes part of Ethan's therapy program, though therapy hardly captures what grows between them. Coda pulls Ethan's chair when his arms tire. Ethan reads books out loud during storms because Coda hates thunder. Coda nudges Ethan awake during nightmares. Ethan touches Coda's scars without fear. They are two souls reshaped by loss. Two beings learning to breathe again. Coda's reputation changes from aggressive to Ethan's dog. The community watches something unexplainable unfold. And for the first time in years, Ethan laughs with his whole face. The night of the storm. The turning point does not arrive suddenly. It creeps in like fog. One winter night, a storm rolls over Redstone Springs. Rain whips the windows. Thunder cracks the sky into trembling pieces. Claire leaves work late. The roads are iced. The wind is violent. Ethan waits by the window because something inside him feels wrong. Coda stands beside him, ears up, body tense. The phone rings. It is a highway officer. There's been an accident. The world collapses around those words. Before Ethan can react, Coda bolts, muscles charging, body crashing through the half-latched door. Coda, and oh. But the dog is gone, swallowed by the storm. The rescue, the unthinkable. Coda runs as if the earth is pulling him. Rain needles his eyes, but he doesn't stop. He finds the skid marks first. Then the barrier dented. Then the overturned car, half buried in snow. Claire is unconscious, blood frozen on her forehead. Her breath is shallow. Coda howls, not a bark, not a growl, but a soul-deep cry that cuts through wind and ice. He breaks the window, drags Claire out inch by inch, lies on top of her to keep her warm, and howls again. This time, someone hears. A passing truck driver stops. An ambulance is called. A life is saved. But Coda collapses beside Claire, body trembling, lungs struggling. He gave everything. More than a dog should be able to give. The hospital. Claire survives. But Coda lies weak on an emergency vet table. Ethan refuses to leave his side. The vet says carefully, "This dog's will is the only reason he's alive. He shouldn't have survived the storm. But he chose to." Ethan places his forehead against Coda's. "I don't care what anyone says, you're not aggressive. You're a guardian." Coda lifts his eyes and nudges Ethan's wrist. He remembers that first hug. He remembers everything. The years that follow. Ethan grows, older, stronger, wiser. He still uses a wheelchair, but he no longer feels trapped by it. Because he saw someone fight nature itself just to save who he loved. Coda grows old, muzzle white, steps slower, rests longer. But his eyes remain fierce. When Ethan graduates school at 18, Coda walks beside his wheelchair, limping, but proud. When Ethan begins volunteering at the K-9 Center, Coda lies nearby like an elder watching over his descendants. When the town holds its annual First Responders ceremony, Ethan gives a speech about the meaning of courage. He ends with, "Some heroes wear badges. Some wear scars. Mine wears both." Coda receives the Medal of Valor. He barks once, a short, tired sound that echoes like a farewell note. The spiritual finale, Wild Soul's signature. The night after the ceremony, Ethan sits outside with Coda under a sky so clear it looks washed clean. "Do you think Dad saw what you did?" Ethan asks softly. Coda lifts his head and stares at the sky. Then, slowly, he places his paw over Ethan's leg. A gesture so intentional, so human, so sacred, that Ethan feels heat rise behind his eyes. For a moment, the world holds its breath. The wind stops. The stars seem a little brighter. Some say dogs see things we cannot. Some say souls recognize each other across realms. Ethan believes both. And when Coda finally rests his head in Ethan's lap, Ethan whispers, You weren't meant to obey. You were meant to save. Coda's breathing steadies, deepens, softens, and in the quiet hours past midnight, when the border between worlds feels thin enough to touch, Ethan swears he feels a second presence beside him, warm, familiar, unseen. A father, a dog, a boy. 3 souls intertwined. 3 wounds healed. 3 lights carried forward. Wild Soul's signature. Always.